The prices of rent and prices of homes have just skyrocketed.
That's led to an affordable housing crisis in St. Augustine, and it has had an impact on local business. St. Augustine City Commissioner Jim Springfield.
It is a problem for the businesses downtown who are primarily service-oriented, waitresses and waiters and people who work in hotels and people who run shops.
He points to one possible solution.
There is 80 acres off Holmes Boulevard that we're going to be reporting about at the next meeting, which happens to be this Monday night. And that meeting, we're going to talk about the steps we're taking for the 80 acres and what's the vision for that. There's not a definitive vision yet. There's going to be a presentation from an architectural firm that has some ideas. And we need to look at other things as well, as providing some kind of incentives for people who are building properties inside the city limits that can provide some affordable. And we're not talking about necessarily poor people anymore. When we talk about affordable, we're talking about workforce, people who are policemen, teachers.
Springfield is calling for a coordinated city-county approach. The St. Johns County Commission recently voted down a proposal to establish a public housing authority, which Springfield says complicates matters.
I think we're losing a lot of resources. Right now, we have to compete with those in Duval County. If we had our own housing authority, we would have the funds directed right to our county that we could be able to have an independent board manage. And I don't know the details of the county commissioners and what their knowledge is, but I think some of them were not misinformed. They just were not informed enough to know what the housing authority could do for the county and what advantages there are.
But as the city and county grow, Springfield thinks the idea for a public housing authority will need to be revisited. This local news is a service of your hometown Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. 19th District Representative Paul Renner recaps the recently concluded special session.
Renner, who is also Speaker of the Florida House, says one issue they tackled is also of national concern.
We addressed immigration, which I think everybody acknowledges is a problem. The federal government has totally abdicated their role to protect our borders. The governor has been strong on this issue, and we are opening up the aperture to make sure he has all the authorities he needs to protect us from illegal immigration.
They also took action to help hurricane victims.
With some additional money for cities and counties that are going to run out of money because of the devastation they experienced, to make sure they have a loan program from the state, a lifeline to keep them going until they get back up on their feet.
Preparations are underway for the 2023 regular session.
In my experience in politics since 2015, I've never seen as good in terms of the relationships that, as I perceive it, outsider looking in between the city and the county and the legislature. Certainly our relationship is great. So more to follow on that. Obviously our session kicks off March 7th, so we won't see a lot of bills on the floor really until then, but bills will be moving through committee, and then those appropriations will come much later in the process toward the end of session, late April, early May.
For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
The St. Augustine City Commission is considering amendments to the zoning and future land use designation of land on Plantation Island Drive South. Amy Skinner is the Director of Planning and Building.
It's about 2.3 acres on the south side of State Road 312. It has a current land use of public and a current zoning district of government use. And the city is proposing to change it to the commercial medium intensity, which is in line with the surrounding commercial properties along 312, and then the city is going to sell it.
The commission will also consider changes to regulations around idle speed no wake zones and convenience fee surcharges for credit card and electronic payments. The meeting is open to the public. It starts at 5 p.m. and is being held in the Alcazar Room. With St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Amy Sherry.
And now you're up to date with St. Augustine's Local Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.